It's day 2 of my month off of the holidays. I just dropped off my bicycle, my winter bike anyways, the shop, and darn it, what is his name? Oh gosh, here I go again. I think it starts with an M, doesn't really matter right now, but anyways, he's a very nice guy, and he was like, well, it looks like it's not going to cost as much as, because I was like, oh, here we go, it's going to be another $1,000 bike thing, because I've told him before, the last thing I want to do is walk my bike in minus 30-degree weather, so like, make sure it's fixed. I mean, this is my primary mode of transportation. I don't drive a car or any of that nonsense. And so anyways, now I'm going to just I'm walking to the river. This is part of the the bicycle pedestrian pathway that gets you to the river. But before we get there, it'll be I'll show you the aviation museum that's very close to my house. I've actually only been there, I've only ever been inside once, and that was because they had the Star Trek experience going on, but that was it. Anyways, I'll stop here and away we go. So yeah, up ahead you can see a bit of the aviation museum, and gosh, it's pretty busy for a Tuesday morning. Holy moly. You got to remember, I live in a city. It's not very population density is pretty low. Well, actually, the entire country, it's ridiculously low. Anyways, if you see this road and even the road above it, on Sundays they close it off, and they just let it just turns into a giant pedestrian and rollerblading, bicycle, stroller, walking, whatever place. It's pretty cool. Well, this crushed stone pathway is new, so I hope this isn't a sign of automobile traffic, because that would suck. But it ain't looking good, especially with this huge wide... Oh no. I do know that, you can't see it, but it's just past that escarpment over there. Like along that ridge line. Just back there is the old Army... Air Force Base, and it's gone now, and it's been sold. It's been turned into housing. Huge development going to happen, but I hope this isn't. Oh, that would suck. And there we go. We're just at almost at the front here. I don't know. We'll start wandering off towards the river, and there's some really nice spots to picnic around here, man. Oh, just amazing. Or read a book and just, I love biking around here and just finding a spot. And I love the sounds of airplanes taking off. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see one zip off, because there's a little airstrip here, a little I don't know what you'd call it, a non-commercial airport or whatever, but yeah, it's pretty funky. So, this little spot, see the little bush? Anyways, you go I just find right there, that little bush is an awesome little picnic spot. Oh, hold on, let me try the little crazy zoom. Oh, yeah. So that little bush is a freaking awesome spot to go to. I know there's something I'm supposed to do, change the something frames per second on this thing, but if I'm moving the camera, but I'm not going to do it. So yeah, we're getting there, getting close to the river. Well, we're taking my shortcut for a couple of reasons. One, well, it's shorter, and I'm also getting a bit peckish, and still got quite a ways to walk back. So this is my normal shortcut anyways. I love biking along this little bit. Was there going to be a... Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I think I'm allowed to, because it's not a commercial airport. But Oh. Yep. Yeah, this airport's seen some hard times due to the fact of, well, it was not doing super great before the pandemic, and then that just nailed it hard. So, anyways. So this is part of the pathway that I like to bike through to get down to the river, but I also wanted to show you, I guess this is basically one of the last flowering plants you'll see in my neck of the woods anyways. It's so nice. It's like a nice little purpley white thing. And I'll tell you, man, the bees and the other pollinators sure like it. So anyways, off we go still. Yeah, and you can see I'm now on the other side of the airport, or airstrip, or whatever the heck it is. All right, see this hill? Now, when Zoe was much younger, we used to bike along these paths so much along the river, it's not funny. And man, I'm gonna tell you, when I start looking at it in the long run, now that I'm like, God, she was so small, and she was just like a little duckling, just following me along, never complained once, and it's like, it's a big distance. Anyways, you can see this. It's a pretty steep hill. So anyways, she's really young. Mind you, I will admit, I paid a lot of money for her bike as a kid. I made sure she was going to get a kick-ass bike. So it wasn't like I was sending her off on, you know, something you'd get at Toys R Us or something. But anyways, I told her at the top of that hill, look, Dad's going to go down the hill with his bike, and I just want you to walk the bike down, all right? So that's what I assumed she was doing. So I'm coming down here, I'm about halfway down, and all of a sudden I can hear her voice a few inches behind my back wheel, just talking about the ride down the hill, and my heart jumped into my throat and just froze, because I was like, what the fuck is she doing? But of course you can't say anything, because it's like, if you start saying, what the hell are you doing? That's when they're gonna freeze up, right? But I think you can see we've got tree stumps and roots, and it's steep, man. And yeah, no fear, man. That's what it's like to be a kid, isn't it? No flippin' fear. Anyways, we're now at the river, and believe it or not, the other side of the river is Quebec. That's how close I am to the Quebec-Ontario border. And yeah, if you've got like a little boat, you can just go and get yourself a canoe and off you go. You're in Quebec. And which, trust me, they do, because we've got a lot of inter-provincial BS stuff. Oh, I better turn off the camera. There's a cyclist coming. I'll turn it back on later. Yep, so that's the Quebec border, or the Quebec side, I should say, and I think that's the Laurentians off in the distance. Boy, the water level is really low, but I guess it's the time of year. And if you look over here, we've got this, which we'll go over to in a minute, the boat yard, or whatever the hell it's called. And yeah, there's some really nice spots along the river here. But boy, I haven't seen the Ottawa River this calm in quite some time. Holy moly! And look, you can see how low. Like, my goodness. It's nuts. It can be like in the early spring there, it's, well, I've seen it almost up to the pathway. So if that tells you anything, that's pretty impressive. I mean, think about that. That's a lot of meters. You know what always blows me away about, especially when I used to go to England quite often in the fall, and it always used to blow me away, like when I would leave and then come back, and just how much of the, you know, there's just so much foliage and everything, and it's all going to be gone in like a month, and it just comes right back again, and it's just like a jungle. It's just insane. But yeah, it just always astonishes me. I kind of did want to show a bit of more of the boats, but I didn't want to do it up close to kind of freak people out if they're like waking up or something. But yeah, you kind of get the idea, I think. Some more. Oh, just one. Slowpoke. Mr. Johnny Slowpoke. You silly goose. And he is a silly goose! Oh god, that's good. Well, it's not my favorite spot to sit, but a boat went by and caused some ripples, so I get to enjoy the sound, which I just absolutely love. Yeah, it's just so relaxing. Yeah, I needed this. This was a smart move to do. Come out here, relax, just get away from everything. Just a very tiny little bit. And like I said, I'm getting peckish. So I still have quite a bit of a walk back. And I'm going to stop off at Harvey's, which is a lovely fast food restaurant. Actually, the place is still around. I worked there when I was a kid, I think like 16 or something. And it's impressive that it's still around. Fortunately, it's not the way it used to be. It used to be fresh cut French fries and all that stuff. Now it's, of course, efficiency and money, money, money. Oops, I'm not looking at the bloody screen again. All right, let's see where it goes. Yep, I will never win video or whatever award, that's for sure. Well, I must be super duper ultra hungry because I'm even taking another bloody shortcut. I've actually never taken this pathway before, but I saw it and I was like, you know what? I think I know where you're going to go. You're going to help me chop off a good 20 minutes, I think, because it loops like way over around. But it's absolutely gorgeous. You should see it during the springtime. Oh my gosh. It just, yeah, it just reminds me of like an enchanted forest. It's just, inside there, it's just, well, there's so many little, oh darn it, microclimes going on here, and eco zones that's going on right now in these little areas, right, where you get the transition between like field and forest. You know, you get that little inter area where you know, anyways, shush. Yeah, what a lovely little, yep, so there's my little shortcut. I know where it's going, I'm pretty darn sure. Who's landing? Cool! Jeez, I'll take that for 200, Alex. Yeah, there you can see the ridge line all the way across there. So the air base is just back there, or where it used to be anyways. And there's the little back end of the museum. And I'll stop it, or maybe I'll just walk a little bit. You can see whatever hell that plane is. Oh, actually, hold on. I'll hit pause, I think. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I can use the zoom. Come on, let's see if this thing works. Supposedly this camcorder has just amazing zoom feature. So there we go. And this is all non-digital zoom. That's like the real McCoy. So, I'm gonna zoom out again. But pretty impressive, man. Jeepers jumping. Yeah, I'm liking this spot. I'm thinking, because what I want to do actually is go and maybe spend an afternoon in complete 100% privacy, and I don't think anybody's going to find me in there. So I just have to worry about poison ivy really, but just stay away from the forest, the woods, and you're fine. Yep, I think that's a good idea. Maybe well, like I said, I think the rest of the week is supposed to be something like this, so I'll find part of the afternoon. Well, I was supposed to go and hang out, help out one of my friends with her computer this afternoon, but she can't do it, and then tomorrow she's getting her windows done or something, so it's going to be postponed to Thursday. So maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. On a side note, I'm just going to show you the helicopter there, and or I don't know if I did show you the helicopter, but what I find interesting is the sound of the helicopter, how it's different for different people. So, oh, that's pretty trippy. Oops, sorry. Still learning. Anyways, a friend of mine, she grew up during the Civil War in Uganda, and she does not take kindly to the sound of helicopters. She always gets anxiety ridden. So it's interesting, the way different people are with sounds and stuff. Oh, like I said, I've never gone down this pathway before, but when I saw this little spot, and I'm thinking about the airport, I'm thinking, ooh, it's like a little monitoring station, or like the radio whatever's, and I just, because I was watching, I guess Combat 2, I think is the playthrough there of Dad versus Son, where he did defend the CP, and I was thinking, it's such a tactical whatever, and when I saw this, I was like, ooh, that is something that I could see Dad versus Son and his tactical understanding of things would, yeah, he'd be able to go, okay, Private Jim was doing this, that, or the other thing there. Pretty cool. Hear that? Tuesday, almost, I don't know, getting close to noon. Not bad, huh? I'm telling you, nice and quiet, peaceful. Just get to hear crickets, the odd little car, obviously airplanes, and I don't know what the hell this is, but somebody would know. That plane there. Hold on. I gotta remember I've got this thing. There we go. Cool. All right. And then, you know what, also, I just dawned on me that, well, I'm very ritualistic, and I'm going to Harvey's to eat, like I mentioned, and here, I might as well watch some geese flying away. Oops. There we go. When I used to go to England, there's a Harvey's at the airport. I would always go to the Harvey's before getting on the plane. And here I am at an airport, and I'm just about to go to Harvey's, so there you go. That's kind of cool. Well, almost at Harvey's, but I did want to show this spot because I see it often, and it just always blows me away how tenacious life is. It just, I mean, look at that, man. Just wants to live. Right? It's just amazing. Anyways, yeah, I often look at that and I'm like, wow, it's just, yeah, everything's just so thriving. Well, this should be my final video, I think, until I get my ass back home. I did want to show this because I don't think a lot of fast food places do it. It's called Frings. For people like me who can't figure out what the hell you want, or like both of them. Yeah, so you get onion rings and french fries, which I think is totally cool. And this area where we're sitting on, where I am or whatever, all the way, well, it's quite a ways down. It's still got another maybe 15-20 minutes to walk to my house. But all this spot, all this area I've mapped out, like I've got all the topography on a table downstairs to scale. And that's where I play my miniatures, and I've done many a battle. So it's neat because right here where we're at is at the elevation, so I usually put where the fortresses are, or, you know, things looking out. But anyways, down there you've got yeah, it's really neat. It's so cool. So when I'm walking often, I'm like, okay, this is where, you know, the chariots would have been, and or what have you, and so on and so forth, because there's a lot of flat areas later on and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's so nice to do, and I'm like, okay, I can go to scale on my table. I'm like, this many minutes, and I know where it is in my mind. And yeah, it's been lovely. There've been many battles fought virtually on here. It's just so cool. Anyways, I better go and eat before it gets cold. Okay, just one more video, because I really kind of wanted to show yet again, like I said, about the elevation and whatnot and the topography for my little table setup. Like, so yeah, this is all, you know, like there you can see all that flat area. I don't worry about all the little trees and all that crazy nonsense. I deal with that, you know, later on. But Yeah, you can see why I use this as this high spot, as like, okay, this is where we can see what's going on. And yeah, it's just been a ton of fun to go. My God, I've got this on my tabletop at home. You know, it's just like cool. Anyways, well, maybe this will be the final video, but I have to remember. I think I'm not using the setting for when you're supposed to be able to walk, so this may be really jerky. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess wanted to show like a final bit of the pathway and whatnot, because I'm telling you, Ottawa is littered with pedestrian and bicycle paths, which is awesome because, like I said, I don't drive a car. So this has just been wonderful. And you can get like pretty far along. Okay, I will admit it's a bit... I'll have to go off to the side here because I don't want the poor bastard to... Actually, I'll just hit pause. Yep, almost home now. Just that little... Well, actually, what am I saying? You can get the zoom here. So if you see that... that little... there we go. That bit there. I'm going to hang a right. There's a little pathway there. Cool, man. This is so neat. Anyways, and I'm going right, there we go. Yeah, like I was saying, it's just wonderful to be able to have all these paths, and I can get, or anybody can pretty much get all over the place, which is quite nice. I mean, we're nowhere near like Europe, that's for bloody sure, but considering the fact that North American cities seem to be so car-centric, it's ridiculous. Anyways, yeah, I also did want to talk about, as I'm approaching the house, I live on Borthwick Avenue. And when I was starting to get ready for my open house, which is my gaming open house, which is on this weekend, and I'm just going to tell you for a fact, the way it's looking anyways, I guess it's just going to be Rob and I showing up, which kind of, you know, that's the way it goes. Here's the irony. I posted the invite, obviously, to the Ottawa Wargamers Club. Didn't hear a peep. Oh, I love these little dudes. I don't know if they're the worst caterpillars on the planet or what, but I love them. So I'm going to move them out of the way. This is probably going to get squashed, the poor little dude. Come here, man. Come here. Silly bugger. Come here. But watch me put him off to the side and he gets eaten by a bigger creature right away. That's the way things happen with me normally. It's like you go to help things out and it's like, you moron, just leave things alone. Anyways, so yeah, I posted to them, didn't hear a peep, and I'm not kidding you, like 2 weeks later, and they haven't had a meeting, an in-person meeting for ages, obviously. And anyways, 2 weeks after I freaking post my thing, my invite for the open house, practically, they go, oh, we're having our first in-person meeting again, game day. When? The week after my open house. I'm like, what the hell? Could you have at least maybe contacted me and say, hey, Chris, do you want to like postpone it and put your little, or whatever? I'm like, okay, whatever. You guys can do your own thing. And which kind of flutters in or dovetails or whatever the hell the thing is of what I wanted to talk about anyways. So I live on Borthwick Avenue, and I thought, I wanted to come up with like, you know, a funky name for my open house, and I was coming up with all kinds of stupid ones, trust me. But I thought, you know what, Borthwick Battles, that sounds kind of cool. So I looked up the name Borthwick, then found out that there's a clan Borthwick in Scotland, and that they were in two pretty big battles. One of them, the Battle of Flodden in 1513, which was the last time a British monarch, I do believe, died in battle. That was King James I. Excuse me. And yeah, that's why in a few of the live streams there, I'm asking people if they know about the Battle of Flodden. One person did, thank you, and I can't remember the person's name. I will look it up again, but they gave me a link to a game. Unfortunately, it's out of print, and it's a small run, so it's probably going to be extremely hard to find. Something about the flowers, I think. But anyways, yeah, so we get down to the Borthwick Battles thing. My gaming open house is probably going to be a dud, which is okay. Like I said, it was kind of it was more towards giving back to people rather than getting anything in return. That being said, it constantly said to me, what do you really want in an open house type of thing or whatever? And I've mentioned it to a few other people online, is I would love to do like a week-long Der Weltkrieg event. And I mean, that would take a long time to plan. I'm not going to say, hey, next week, let's do it, obviously. And also you have to find people that you mesh with. But I can easily accommodate 3 people for a week in my house, easily. Not to mention if people needed privacy, more privacy than that. I'm not kidding you. I'm within walking distance, like within 10 minutes of a motel and a hotel that are very good. Like I can see them from my freaking, I just have to like point out practically and they're there. So that's also another option. So yeah, I'm throwing that out there, and it would take a long time to plan it out, but I think that would be kind of neat. A 4-player Der Weltkrieg week-long thingamajig. Like I said, this is like way off, like just, what do you call it? Taking its translucent shape off in the distance or something. But, oh yeah, see this little patch of grass, or this little spot? No, that little spot I include in every single battle that I pop in. It's like this big chunk of rough terrain. Anyways, yeah, so I would love to do a 4-player Der Weltkrieg week-long thing someday. I think that would be neat. 2 players as Central Powers and 2 players as the Entente. I think that'd be totally cool, and there'd be a nice, it's a nice little city, man. And I think this time of year, if it would be like in October, which would be nice, I think. But I usually get a fair amount of holidays, so I would always be open to something. But yeah, okay, maybe one more tiny video. So here we go, the final little walk. Yeah, this is a bit of the, I don't know if you're allowed to film schools. I guess I shouldn't do that. I'll stop. Goodness gracious, what am I thinking? So here we are, practically here at, well, this is Gardenvale, but just about to go to Borthwick. Yeah, so I kind of like the name of Borthwick Battles. I think that's kind of a nice name for my stuff. But I certainly wanted to do the Battle of Flodden for my gaming open house on Saturday. That would have been pretty nice. But that's not going to happen. I guess it's just going to be Rob and I probably doing the Masurian Lake scenario with our tweaked rules and see how good they work, which I think they're going to work great because I've already play tested them once and they were freaking awesome. It just puts like just a beautiful enhancement to Ray's World Undone series. Just gives it that little extra stuff that what we would like, or at least I would like for sure. One of them is the reserve movement. We're just not using it, and I found with the inclusion of just forcing all units to have to stop when they first reach a river, that immediately allowed you to keep some of your movement points for the next phase in that turn for movement, which I think is totally wonderful. And it made sense because Zoe and I, Rob and I were not using it at all. So, but I found that once I popped that rule in, I was using reserve movement every single turn, and it made sense. I'm not saying Ray, like, trust me, man, Ray's his game design and the way he was able to like fix rules issues and stuff like that so elegantly and so quickly just blew me away. I was like, wow, impressive. Oh yeah, there's my apple tree, the where I get my apple butter tarts from, and we didn't even know we had an apple tree. That's probably why it looks kind of funky weird, but I had some vines growing on it, and boy oh boy did it ever cover the tree. That's why it's kind of like shrubbish looking. But yeah, that's it. And then here we go. In I go. Into my beautiful little gaming world. Because that's what my house is, man. My beautiful gaming world.